Hi, my name is Katie Rao, and I'm here today to show you how to make a mask with a filter in a quick and efficient way. You're going to need your materials. First of all, you need a sewing machine. You need pre-washed cotton fabric of a high thread count. You're going to be cutting this material into pieces that measure 9.5 inches by 15.5 inches. Then you're going to need a ruler, masking tape, a scissors, something to mark your fabric with, and something to turn out the corners where you're going to put your elastic. And then you need your elastic. I've outlined 8 steps for making this mask with filter. Step 1 is to cut your pieces into 9.5 inches by 15.5 inches. The elastic you're going to cut into 7-inch segments. So you're going to cut a bunch of fabric and a bunch of elastic. If you can get a nice friend to cut it for you, take them up on their offer. Thank you to Nancy and Ronnie. For step 2, we're going to prepare our work area. We're going to put a piece of masking tape or painter's tape on the 1/2-inch line of our sewing machine because it's much easier to follow a nice long line. So I know that my 1/2-inch line is between those two numbers. If you're unsure, get your ruler, have your needle come down to where the inch mark is, and make sure that you've laid this at the 1/2-inch line. Okay, now I'm going to prepare a 5-inch area on my work table. So take a piece of tape about 11 inches long. Put it along the bottom of your table. Now, I need an area of 5 inches here. This is so that it's easier to do my folds later. Okay, so there's my 5-inch line. Gonna check it. So now I've made a space of 5 inches on my table. Now sometimes you might get a little tired and go, oh no, was I supposed to use the top or use the bottom? So I'm gonna go like this because I know it's happened to me. Now I know this is the area of 5 inches. Starting step 3 now. The way you're going to be making these in an efficient way is you're going to make them in groups of 10. So you're going to bring over 10 pieces of your pre-cut 9.5 by 15.5 inch fabric. And maybe you're only going to have time to get through one of these steps, but get through all 10 pieces with one step before you go on to the next step. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fold with your fingers. You're just going to fold in about 1/2 inch. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you're going to be sewing along here. And then you're going to fold this and sew that end. So bring it over to my machine. Make sure you back stitch. And then you're just going to be holding it as you sew. And back stitch. Okay, now I'm going to do the other end. So I'm just folding it in. I'm just going to eyeball this. It's about 1/2 inch. Bring it over to your machine. Put down your presser foot. Go forward about 3 stitches. Back stitch to lock it in place. So I've got both ends sewn. You're going to continue doing this to all 10 of your pieces. Step 4. You've sewn 10 pieces at each end. Now you're going to turn them upside down so that the stitched side is down. And you're going to line it up with this piece of masking tape. Line it up along the bottom. Then you get the top and fold it to meet your masking tape line here. Now you know this is 5 inches, which is very important. And then you fold the bottom to meet the top. You're not going to go over, you're going to go right on top of it. Once you have it folded, you're going to bring it over to your machine. You're going to be sewing the side here using your masking tape as an edge, but make sure you leave a 1/2 inch at the top and bottom of each side. That's where your elastic is going to fit in. So bring it over. Leave at least a 1/2 inch. If I leave an inch, that's fine. Back stitch. I'm following my masking tape line, making sure that stays there. Now leave at least 1/2 inch here for my elastic to fit in. If you've got 1 inch elastic, you're going to need to leave a much bigger space. Okay, so that's one end. I've left it open for my elastic. Now flip it around, and I'm going to leave my 1/2 inch at the top. Follow along your masking tape. Forward, back stitch. All the way. Back stitch. Okay. Now I'm going to take it off, and now I can trim my threads. So you're going to do this to all 10 pieces. We're on step 5 now. You've got 10 pieces done with sewing all along the sides, leaving a gap at the top and the bottom. Now we're going to turn it to the right side. Okay, and now this is where you're going to turn out these corners. You can use a knitting needle if you've got that. You're just going to push that corner out. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. Okay. See this corner? I over pushed it out. It looks a little bit like a rabbit ear. That's okay. I just need to be able to have a space to put an elastic in. We're on step 6 now. We're going to be marking our fabric at 1 inch increments, starting from the bottom. We've got this opening up like an envelope would open. So this is the bottom, opening like an envelope. So I'm going to put my ruler here, and you can use either a pencil to do your marks. I'm going to do it with a fabric pen so you can see it easier. I'm going to mark at 1 inch intervals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm bringing it over to this side. Mark it at the same. For step 7, we're going to be sewing our 2 pieces of elastic into each of the corners. So these are already pre-cut to 7 inches. So you're going to just push the hole open with your finger. You're also going to be holding this so that you feed about a 1/2 inch of elastic into the pocket. With this finger, I can feel it in there. You're going to bring it to your machine, and you're going to just lock it in place with a forward and a backward stitch. Now, don't worry if we're going to be going over this elastic 3 more times. Now we're going to make sure this doesn't twist. You're going to bring it into the bottom hole, hold it about a 1/2 inch, push it into the hole. I can feel it in there. Bring it back to my machine, and you're going to go through it. Okay, and I'm going to cut these threads close. Okay, and now I have to do the other side. And you're going to want to close also. We're on step number 8. Our mask is opening like a letter, and we've got it marked on each side. I'm going to start on the left side. We're going to bring our mark up to the next mark, bring it over to the machine, and now we're starting to make our pleats. This time we're going to follow the edge of the presser foot line along our material because we want to make sure we catch the elastic each time we sew. So we go forward three or four stitches, back stitch it in place. Now, when you're at the beginning of your pleat, use your presser foot like a hand. And now I'm going to make my next pleat. My pleats are going up towards the top. There we go. I'm going to stop and I'm going to do my last pleat. You want to have 3 pleats. We're going to go to the other side. Because I'm right-handed, I like to keep the bulk of my work on my left hand. So now I'm going to match my pleat on the other side. These marks that you made are really a guide. It does not have to be perfect. So I bring it over, I use the side of my presser foot, back stitch, stop at the beginning of the pleat, use it like a hand. Now I'm going to bring this one up. You can feel the different layers of material that when you're folding them, try to make sure you don't have yourself sewing through more than 6 layers at a time. Most machines won't be able to get through that, and you're going to end up breaking needles. So now while I'm in this pleat, I'm going to fold the last one up. You should have 3 pleats here. Back stitch. Okay, and my last step is I'm going to add one more row of sewing between my stitch line and the end of the fabric. Anywhere between here is fine. Make sure you back stitch. You are going through a lot of layers here, so just be patient. Cut your threads close. This is going next to someone's face. These threads, I can cut them now, I can cut them at the end. I'm going to cut them now. All right, so I'm adding one more row of stitching. Okay, so I've done my mask. Okay, we've got an opening for that the medical workers will add their filter. We've got it 3 pleats. It can expand over their face. So remember guys, the most efficient way to do this is to get through all of one step with 10 pieces before you move on to the next step. That way you get in a rhythm and you don't have to remember all the steps at one time. A huge thank you to all you healthcare workers and everyone out there making masks. Every mask helps. Thanks.